This brand sells one bottle every 30 seconds. That's wild. Watermans is dominating the hair growth industry. From menopause to male pattern baldness, they've built real trust with customers that have thinning hair or that've got hair loss going on. But there's one thing Watermans has completely missed, and you've guessed it, their retention strategy. There's no pop-up, there's no email list building, there's no flows, no backend whatsoever, which means 97% of the traffic that landed on site and browsed around because they were interested but just did not end up buying because they didn't have the conviction needed to place an order on that first visit. All of those visitors are just going to leave and never come back unless the brand spends more on ads to retarget them. I tried joining Waterman's email list from the footer and from the checkout, but there's no email whatsoever. And that's why the money actually is for niches like this, where the products require a high level of trust, and also because it's a competitive niche. That's where back-end persuasion comes in. But this brand has got none. So in this video, I'm giving you the full strategy that I would implement for Watermans to capture 15 to 20% of their highest intent visitors and retarget them on autopilot using long flows that use every persuasion angle, hit every objection, show all of the reasons why they should buy from this brand, mention all of the USPs, using micro-topic emails that are easy to consume, the recipients actually look forward to receiving. I'm even going to give you some templates that you can use to replicate this for your brand. Okay, so first, let me take a step back and show you the problem Watermans is facing, and likely the problem you're facing as well. So you've got traffic coming to your site from your organic content or your paid ads, but only 2 to 5% of that traffic converts on site. That's why your conversion rate is going to be around 2 to 5%. The other 95, 97% of traffic was interested, otherwise they wouldn't have come to your website. They have interest, there is some level of interest, but there isn't enough conviction for them to make a purchase on their first order. So what we need to do is we need to capture them, all right? Capture them, get their info. It's basically some way to get their eyeballs again, right? Get their attention again. And you could do that through more ads, which is not really effective, number one. Number two, it's even more ad spend. That's why we are going to use an owned channel, okay? Which is a channel you actually own. It's not a rented channel like Meta or Google or whatever. It's an owned channel, and it also means that you don't have to spend more money on ads, okay? So we are going to capture 15 to 20% of traffic and convert them into email subscribers. And the way we are going to do this is the way we can capture up to 10 times more than the average Shopify store. The industry average is about 4% subscription rate for email, but we can do almost 10x that by using this strategy, where we first have a look at the sessions by landing page. There is a report inside of Shopify called Sessions by Landing Page. We have a look at the most significant landing pages, and depending on the awareness level on the landing page, if it's a content or blog page, the awareness level of the traffic coming to that page is significantly different than the awareness level of people who are going to the product pages and reading the page, right? So we need different types of pop-ups on these different types of pages, because we need to be able to have different incentives and different formats. Because on these pages, so product pages, collection pages, etc., people are there to buy, okay? They're in the buying mood, and the incentives that work well are a percentage off, or free shipping, or a free gift with purchases above a certain amount. But these types of incentives do not work well on content pages, blog pages, because people are on blog pages to read and learn more. So you need to have an incentive that is like a free book, free ebook, or free guide, or something that is completely free and doesn't require them to buy, okay? And then for each of these pop-ups, we would test different formats. So that's one format where you tell them, hey, you've got this discount, tell us a bit about yourself. Or you ask a question like, hey, do you want free shipping? And then you ask them yes or no. And then after they click on yes or no, or an option here, that's when you show them the email input field. Don't show the email input field on the first step, because they've seen hundreds of pop-ups. If they see an email input field, if they figure out in a split second that it's about email, they will automatically start to look for the close icon. And that's why you want to be using a format like this, because we have tested these extensively. We've done dozens of A/B tests, and these formats have consistently outperformed the regular format that 99% of Shopify stores are using. And then after the format, we would basically A/B test every variable that exists. For example, with close icon and without, we do a test for that. The speed timing, the size of the pop-up, so normal size versus full page, the trigger timing of the pop-up. So we basically test all of these variables to come up with a fully optimized pop-up, and that's how we can get up to 10 times more subscriptions. Now, before I go into the flow, this is a very important step because we don't just want to capture them and send everyone the same emails. Right on the pop-up, we need to ask them a question that is a high leverage question that will help us personalize the messaging, because some people are on the website because some of them might be women that are in menopause and losing hair or something, men that are experiencing male pattern baldness or hair thinning, or maybe you've got some cancer patients. We'd have a look at, basically, by analyzing the brand's reviews, we'd have a look at the most common segments, okay? And then we would have a question that lets us segment right on the pop-up. So after we ask this question, we'll be able to have personalized flows for different types of pain points or the reason they're buying. And once we have this data, we are ready to build a fully fledged flow strategy. But before we do that, there is a very important step that almost every Shopify store misses, and that's the warm-up of the domain. Even if they've been sending some emails, some campaigns, almost all the time, there is damage that has been done to their domain, which just means that a lot of their emails are going to spam, it's not going to the main inbox, so there's no point in crafting a world-class strategy with world-class content if the emails are not even being seen in the main inbox. So we are going to be using a warm-up infrastructure. This is a very intricate flow that I have developed, and it basically automatically segments the email list in the right proportions using the right criteria, and it will strategically send them warm-up emails that will increase domain reputation. If that has gone over your head, do not worry. You can get this for free by signing up to one of our lead magnets on our homepage, and these are the type of results you will get. So going from 14% open rate to 46%, doubling open rates, and just getting rid of all of the bounces. Okay, that's the importance of warming up your domain and the correct segmentation. Once we have done that, we are now ready to go into the flows. So first of all, the welcome flow. In this flow, the content needs to be tailored to the next highest intent traffic, because that's the lowest hanging fruit we want to catch as soon as possible. So people that are product aware, people that know there is a product that can help them, that can solve their problem, but they're deciding between Waterman and another brand or multiple other brands. Okay, so this flow, the welcome flow, is there to differentiate Watermans from the ocean of competitors out there. You need to answer the question, why Watermans? What are the USP? What makes them different? The story. So all of these angles that are mainly about differentiating between other brands and Watermans. And then the issue is, this flow lasts about 7 days. For most agencies, it lasts about 7 days, but we've extended this to like 10 days. But even then, 90% of the people that enter this flow do not end up buying because they need more conviction building, they need more angles, and this is where the endless nurture flow comes in, where we've basically mapped out all of the persuasion angles that we can use, derived from the works of legendary marketers, the best marketers of all time. We've tested it using the email channel, and we've come up with 30 winning angles to build trust and 20 winning angles to build desire. And the theory is, if someone has enough trust in the brand and enough desire for the products, and if we keep adding touch points from different angles, at some point in time, they're going to. Now, this point in time can be months away, or it can be days away. That's why we have a flow that spans across 4 months, while the copy and the angles are personalized to non-buyers, because 70% of an email list consists of. By the way, you're already spending money to get traffic on site, right? But here's the thing, 97% of that traffic is going to leave after one visit and is never going to come back. We just helped one brand go from 5% to 17% email capture rate by making 3 simple tweaks that you can make as well. There's a free guide in the description that shows you how. It'll take you 10 minutes to implement, but it's going to grow your brand's lifetime asset, which is your email list, 4 times faster. Acknowledge that, hey, you haven't tried our products, and then you handle the objection or you mention the USP. And one key thing to note is that these emails are micro topic emails. You don't want to give too much info inside of one email because it's going to be overwhelming. You want these to be micro topics, easy to digest, easy to consume, and not too overwhelming. So yeah, we basically use every angle there is, and you can get these angles by signing up to one of our lead magnets on our homepage. We basically stack all of these angles on top of each other. There's about 40 emails. These span across about 4 months. And this is going to build conviction on autopilot for every current subscriber and future subscriber. And then comes the downsell flow. This flow is a sequence of 4 offers that a brand is comfortable giving. And each offer has a launch email, a follow-up email, and a countdown email. and we use unique follow-up angles that match the brand. Okay, it's not just some generic angles that everyone is using. These are unique angles that are going to be pattern interrupts and that will stand out in the inboxes of customers. And the reason we have these offers, and by the way, these offers have a time delay between each other. They have a time delay of about 3 weeks. So between each offer, there is a 3-week time delay, because in those 3 weeks, they're going to keep receiving the endless nurture-free content. So when the next offer comes by, they would be higher up on the conviction ladder. Okay, so what I was mentioning here, okay, the more time that goes by, the more touch points they consume, the more emails they consume, they will be higher up on this ladder. The downsell flow is just there to push them over the edge when they have enough conviction. And the best part is this sequence of offers, so all of this is just automated. Everything is synchronized and automated. Next, you have the abandonment flows. I'm not going to do too deep into them because everyone talks about them. But one thing I will say, the main thing I will say is these flows do not just need to be about reminding, okay? Because people did not forget to buy from your site. So having emails that just remind, like the typical agency or YouTube video is going to say, remind them that they left a cart, remind them about the discount, etc. They did not leave the site because they forgot. They left the site because they had a hesitation, they didn't have enough trust, or they did not have enough desire. They had some level of desire, but not enough to buy. So that's why at the bottom of every single one of these emails, you want to add more content, okay? Content that differentiates you, more social proof, even use unique angles that make you stand out from other brands. Okay, you want to do that stuff at the bottom of every abandonment email. And these flows are going to decrease Waterman's CPA, get them more conversions without spending an extra penny on ads. And after that, we have the LTV, flows that will increase the LTV. The first one is the immediate upsell flow. To build this flow, first we have a look at which items are bought together, most frequently bought together. There is a report on inside of Shopify that tells us this. We'll have a look at this report, and we would have emails that give every customer 30 minutes to add another product to their existing order. So if they add a product, it's going to be the existing order ID, the existing shipment, so they don't have to repay for shipment. And to do that, we'll need to just integrate an app. It's not that hard, it's quite simple to do. And depending on what they bought, and based on this data, we would have different emails, okay? We had different emails based on what they bought and what is the most likely purchase. So what's most likely to be bought alongside the product. And then before we get to the second purchase, we need to lay ground for loyalty. And we're going to do that using a few flows, which I'm going to show you right now. You have the thank you flow. This is a hard thank you. Please do not use a templatized thank you email. It needs to be a personal thank you from one person, ideally the founder or the CEO. And you want to give a heartfelt thank you to really make them feel appreciated. It's not going to bring in revenue directly, but it's going to lay ground for loyalty. And then after about 2 weeks, you want to follow up with them, not just to ask for a review, but genuinely show them that you care about their experience. And then you can strategically get more reviews. So direct all of the positive reviews to external review platforms like Google Reviews or Trustpilot, and direct all of the neutral or negative reviews to an internal Google form so that you can improve your products, improve processes and customer service. So yeah, and this is also going to indirectly help you get more customers, because when someone new comes across your ad or website or content, they Google your name and they have a look at reviews on third-party websites like Google Reviews, Trustpilot, etc. If they genuinely want to know what customers are saying, they're not going to have a look at your product page, okay? They're going to go to external pages that you don't have control over. Next, we have the endless loyalty flow. Again, this flow is not about revenue. This is about laying ground for loyalty. So in this flow, you want to give them valuable content, reinforce their decision by letting them know that they've made the right decision, showing behind the scenes, making them feel part of a community. Okay, so you just want to keep sending them content that reinforces the fact that they made the right decision and that they chose the right brand. Because if you've been in touch with them, sending them valuable content that is actually valuable, not some random email that everyone is sending, so emails that benefit them, okay, beyond a transactional level, and then if they come across another brand that's selling a similar product, they are less likely to ditch you for that brand, even if their price is cheaper, because just subconsciously there is a connection beyond transaction now, if they've been consuming this content. And then after this, you have a first to second purchase flow. This isn't just some generic win-back flow that every YouTube video talks about and every agency offers. This is a win-back specifically for first-time customers, because the second largest chunk inside of your email list consists of profiles with one purchase. So they're just sitting in your email list, receiving generic campaigns. You don't want to do that. You want to have a long flow, personalized to first-time customers, acknowledging that their product for the first time and that they haven't repurchased yet or made another purchase. And the way we are going to trigger them isn't just based off of guesswork, assuming, okay, a bottle lasts this amount of time, one day it should come back, etc. We're not going to make guesses. We're going to have a look at hard data. We're going to download this app called Lifetimely, and we're going to get this graph to see the time between orders that it took second-time customers to make their second purchase. Basically, the time between the first order and the second order. So as we can see here, 80% reorder by day 29. Okay, that's a significant time. And another significant time is, let's just say 90 days. Okay, that's this brand specifically. Not Watermans, but that's for another brand. So don't take this for your brand. For your brand, it's going to be different. You just have to download this app and pull out this chart. So this flow is again a sequence of offers. It's a sequence of 45 offers that span across 4 months. And between each offer, there is like a 1 month time delay because we don't want to send follow-ups too tightly because they might not need a replenishment yet. So again, these are offers that have unique launch angles, okay, stuff that stands out from other brands inside of the inbox. So just giving a different spin to offers and making them stand out using different types of follow-ups and emails. Okay, that's what this flow is for. And it works hand in hand with the endless loyalty flow. We send educational and value content on Mondays and Fridays and sale emails on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays because those are the best days for sale emails. These are automations. And then for repeat purchases, we have a flow for them, acknowledging that they have purchased from us many times, thanking them, and just helping them make the next purchase. And we also have a referral flow if the brand is willing to do a referral program, which will trigger on repeat purchases because those are people who have already bought multiple times from the brand. And if they can get discounts on their future purchases for referring their friends and their family that have similar problems or similar experiences, why wouldn't they? Using these, we can increase the LTV, and by decreasing the CPA and increasing the LTV, they'll be able to see results like this. So basically tripling their flow revenue. And also one key thing, it's not just about the flow revenue, but it's also about the impact it has on the total store revenue as well. Okay, there are some more case studies you can see on our homepage. For example, this one, that's a big one, going from 19K per month to 135K per month, going from 100K per month to 164K per month, with revenue directly attributed to the flows. And yeah, you can see some of the reactions of some of our previous clients. And yeah, this is the strategy we would set up for Watermans. If you want the angles and the warm-up infrastructure and the pop-up strategy, we have free training on our homepage. Just go to the free training section and you can get all of those free resources. Hope you enjoyed this and that you found it valuable. And yeah,